As we recall, Allah says in Surah Qaf, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَذِكْرَ لِمَنْ كَانَ لَهُ قَلْبٌ أَوْ أَلْقَى السَّمْعَ وَهُوَ شَهِيدٌ. So in your mind, your attention, you're not paying attention in anything else, nothing else. You're just paying attention to the words of Allah. So it can enter your heart, so your heart can absorb it. That's always the first phase. That's how the Sahaba learnt it. That's how Rasulullah ﷺ learnt it. When the wahi was brought to him and he would try to recite along with Jibreel alayhi salam, Allah revealed the ayah saying, "La tuharrik," stop, don't recite. Rather listen, understand, faham, understand what Allah is trying to tell you. Right? فَاتَّبِعْ قُرْآنَ. Then ثُمَّ إِنَّ عَلَيْنَا بَيَانَ, will allow you to recite it, will allow you to will make it clear on your tongue. Bayan, speech. So always comes first listening, then abusara. You can look into it as the Sahaba, they wrote it down, then they can refer back to it so they don't forget it. Yes, but we'll go over a quick recap. So وَإِذَا رَآكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِيَّتَّخِذُونَكَ إِلَّا هُزُوًا. So after the previous ayat, Allah was speaking about Tawheed. Allah was speaking about His signs. As we know, as we've been over, every single time Allah mentions any of His ayat. And whenever you look at any of the ayat of Allah, the signs of Allah, it must lead you to Tawheed. It must lead you to the realization that La ilaha illallah. As Allah says in the Qur'an also, that He created the heavens and the earth. خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ. So that you may know that إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. That Allah is able over all things. Nothing is impossible for Allah. So if you have not realized that from looking at one of the signs of Allah, then you have not hit the goal yet. You have missed the mark. That's one thing. By the way, the believer is contemplating over the heavens and the earth every single day. Right? الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. Those who remember Allah a lot, the true believer, they remember Him whilst they're standing, whilst they're sitting, whilst they're on their sides. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. They are always pondering over the creation and the functionality and how the heaven and the earth is being sustained, and also the eventuality, what's going to happen to the heaven and the earth, the end of it, the destruction of it. They're always pondering over this on a daily basis. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, this is from a hadith, every single morning he would recite the last 10 ayat of Surah Ali Imran. That's literally الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا سُبْحَانَكَ فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Every single day he would recite this. Why? It's a good reminder to help you remember your purpose, so that you also reflect the heavens and the earth, so that you fulfill the sunnah, so that you remember where you're going, you remember that everything will be destroyed. So if when you look at the ayat of Allah, it does not lead you to La ilaha illallah, it does not lead you to realize one of the names of Allah, then you have not hit the mark yet, and you need to go deeper. You need to do deeper tadabbur. May Allah grant us all the ability to do that. Now he's gone back to the previous theme of the surah regarding the Quraysh and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, which is before, again, they were denying Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they were denying the prophethood, they were denying the word of Allah simply because of him. So he says, وَإِذَا رَآكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِيَّتَّخِذُونَكَ إِلَّا هُزُوًا. What do they say when they see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam? They make a mockery. أَهَذَا الَّذِي يَذْكُرُ آلِهَتَكُمْ. Is this the one who's making fun or refuting your idols, your gods? وَهُمْ بِذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ هُمْ كَافِرُونَ. Whilst they are, from the mention of Ar-Rahman himself, disbelieving, turning away. The source of every single ni'mah, Ar-Rahman. And they acknowledge this themselves, right? When it was asked to them, وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهِ. They said Allah. The Quraysh themselves said Allah. But then they turn away and they disbelieve in the source of all favors, the source of all rahmah, in order to appease their idols. And so from the tafsir of Imam Sa'di it's mentioned, so who truly has bad character then? Who's truly wretched in their hearts then? We mentioned this at the beginning of the class today, Hadith al-Nafs. If you go deep inside the heart, أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Those whose hearts are locked, they cannot realize the truth. So if you look at the part, وَهُمْ بِذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ هُمْ كَافِرُونَ. They disbelieve in the mention of Ar-Rahman himself. This goes back to the very first ayah. So this goes back to the first ayah. اِقْتَرَبَ لِلنَّاسِ حِسَابُهُمْ. That mankind, they turn away from their hisab, وَهُمْ فِي غَفْلَةٍ, and in their heedlessness they turn away. Correct. So even in this day and age, if you refer to it today, وَهُمْ بِذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ هُمْ كَافِرُونَ, literally when you look at everything, if you look at the previous ayat, وَجَعَلْنَا فِيهَا فِجَاجًا سُبُلًا لَعَلَّهُمْ يَهْتَدُونَ, if you remember the explanation, Allah has placed the mountains precisely in its exact location, made wide tracks to make it easy for the people to go over, for the earth to be stable, all part of the rahmah of Allah. And so if looking at the signs of Allah again is not leading you to believe that He truly is the most merciful, then again, what are you doing with your life? And then this will happen, وَهُمْ فِي غَفْلَةٍ مُعْرِضُونَ, if we are in our heedlessness, turning away. Why are we turning away in heedlessness? لَاهِيَةً قُلُوبُهُمْ, because our hearts, they have ilha in there. Our hearts are distracted with lahu. All we want is wealth. All we want is money and health. And because we're so distracted with that in this life, we cannot give due attention to what's coming next. خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ عَجَلٍ, which is what Allah says next. A man is ever in haste. He only wants what he sees right in front of him. كَلَّا بَلْ تُحِبُّونَ الْعَاجِلَ وَتَذَرُونَ الْآخِرَةَ. You love what's right in front of you, you forget about what's ahead. You love this dunya, you forget about the akhirah. But the believer always remembers the akhirah. First thing in the morning is thinking akhirah, my meeting with Allah. Right? رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. At night, he's always conducting muhasabah. He's ensuring that any of the sins he may have fallen into during the day, he does istighfar, he does tawbatan nasuha, because he may not wake up again. Live each day like it's your last. And this is for the believer. As for the disbeliever, what do they say? وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدُ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. They ask, challenging the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدُ, when is this promise? What promise? What promise are they referring to here? Yawmul Qiyamah, that's one of them, correct? So they're asking, when is this Yawmul Qiyamah if you are truthful? Why don't you tell Allah to bring it on now? Because خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ عَجَلٍ, man is hasty. Man wants to see everything now. Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. So they ask that. Second, it also refers, al-wa'ad refers to the punishment of Allah. وَإِذْ قَالُوا اللَّهُمَّ إِنْ كَانَ هَذَا هُوَ الْحَقَّ مِنْ عِنْدِكَ فَأَمْطِرْ عَلَيْنَا حِجَارَةً مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. The Quraysh made a foolish dua. Oh Allah, if this truly is the truth from you, then send upon us rain of stones from the sky. أَوْ ائْتِنَا بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. Or send us a punishment, a painful punishment. Then we'll believe. Then we'll believe. You send us a punishment, we'll believe. What sort of mentality is this? Allahu Akbar. This is something to ponder over. Allah, He says, لَوْ يَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. That if only they knew, if only the disbelievers knew of what's going to happen, they wouldn't ask this question as when is the punishment of Allah coming, or when is Yawmul Qiyamah coming. What does Allah want us to imagine? So, لَوْ يَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, if only they knew, those who disbelieved, حِينَ, that moment, لَا يَكُفُّونَ عَوْ وُجُوهِهِمُ النَّارِ, when they will not be able to keep the fire away from their face. Let's bring it closer to understanding. Let's say I come tomorrow with a water gun. I'm going to spray it on your face. What are you going to do with your hands? Exactly. You're going to try and block it, right? So they're going to try it. They're going to try and ward off the fire of Jahannam with their faces. Allah says, حِينَ لَا يَكُفُّونَ عَوْ وُجُوهِهِمُ النَّارَ, but they will not be able to do so. But the fire will come to their faces anyway. وَلَا عَنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ, and it will also burn their backs. Meaning it's going to come all around them. Allah mentioned in Surah Kahf, وَإِن يَسْتَغِيثُوا يُغَاثُوا بِمَاءٍ كَالْمُهْلِ يَشْوِي الْوُجُوهِ. Right? إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا جَهَنَّمَ وَإِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ نَارًا أَحَاطَ بِهِمْ سُرَادِقُهَا. The fire of Jahannam is going to encompass the people all around them, beneath them, above them. وَمِن تَحْتِهِمْ ظُلَلٌ مِّنَ النَّارِ. Beneath them will be columns of fire. Above them will be columns of fire. They'll be completely covered in Jahannam, completely burning. Every single time the skin burns away, it will be replaced. And we know of the description of Jahannam. We'll go over them again soon. Allah says, وَلَا هُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. They will not be helped either. Meaning that the disbelievers now, when they are put in Jahannam, these very same Quraysh that's asking Allah to bring on the punishment, they will now start calling out for help. All of those in Jahannam, they will call out for help. Allah says, وَلَا هُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. We're not going to help them. We're not going to allow anybody to help them. Allah mentioned in Surah A'raf, the people in Jahannam, they will ask for water. They will call to the believers, give us a drop of water. The believers will say Allah has made it haram. We cannot give you even a drop of water. They will not be helped at all. Okay, let's keep the next 5 minutes for questions, inshallah. We'll keep